Hi, and thank you for listening. My name is Xavier Maryland. Have any of you guys come to your parents about an issue instead of trying to lie or hide about it? I know it's certainly harder to tell the truth than it is to lie. I also know that everyone has that one story about when they were a kid and they should have come to their parents about an issue, but they didn't. And they got in more trouble than they probably would have if they would have come to their parents about it in the first place. I myself am still working through this issue as I'm a blatant liar and tend to lie to ease my own issues. Today, in this speech, I'm going to talk about the Aesop fable, The Honest Woodcutter, and how it directly correlates to a time in my life where I needed to be honest and through an issue where I did not want to be. But before we talk about that, let's talk about the Aesop fable and see what its moral is. So the honest woodcutter and the dishonest woodcutter Aesop fable is a story that goes, there's an honest woodcutter, of course, and a dishonest woodcutter. The honest woodcutter is also known as the active woodcutter in some stories. The active woodcutter goes out, he chops down a tree, and his axe falls out of his hands and into a lake. He gets upset, and a goddess appears out of the lake, and she shows him his axe. Except it's gold. And so she says, "Is this your axe, sir?" He says, "No, that's not my axe." She goes back down to the river again, or the lake, and she comes back up with a silver axe. "Is this your axe, sir?" "No, that's not my axe." She goes back down again. She gives him all three axes as a reward for being honest, and she tells him to go on his way and have them all to keep. He runs to the town, he's super happy, he's excited, he's jumping around, he's dancing, and he tells everyone who would listen about what happened, how he got these axes. And one of those people was a dishonest woodcutter, or a lazy one. So he goes out there the next day, and he throws his axe into the lake. Then then the goddess appears, and she holds up the golden axe. "Is this your axe, sir?" "Yes," he says. And then she scolds him, telling him that that is not his axe, and he's being dishonest. She takes away his axe as a punishment, and he's left with no job because he's a woodcutter and doesn't have an axe, and he doesn't have an axe, so he's out of money. And so the obvious moral of the story is that honesty is the best policy, and even when it doesn't feel like it, or when there's a better payoff for lying, it's always better to be honest, or truthful. Now let's look at a time in my life where this directly correlated to a story, or a school story of mine. So last semester, I started dual enrollment, which is very different from regular school because you have to keep up with it a lot more. In regular school, you procrastinate, you get everything done last minute because the schoolwork tends to be easier, less thought out, and it's simple questions. In one of my history classes, I procrastinated and had I had 12 hours to write an 1,800-word essay. And I was freaking out, I was panicking, I was over-exaggerating to everyone, but I calmed down, and I started working on the essay. My mom was not home at the time. She had my little siblings out doing grocery shopping. She comes home, I tell her what happens, even though I really didn't want to and I was afraid, because I figured I'd get in a lot of trouble. She quarantines a room in the house for me to do my schoolwork, and so I can do it in quiet, with little distraction, and I got it done at around 8 p.m. My dad showed up at around that time, and he showed me how to edit, put pictures in the background, show my sources, and overall just grammarly check it, make it look official, and then he helped me submit it to my teacher. Without being honest, I probably would have gotten a 0 on that test, or that exam. And thanks to them, I probably would never have passed that test, that quiz, that essay after that. But thanks to being honest, I was able to get over it, and with the help of my parents, I was able to overcome this issue. I'm still learning this issue as I'm older because I'm still working on my procrastination in college. I hope this story helps you realize that being honest is more beneficial than being a liar, as whenever you lie, it always tends to come back to get you, is what the phrase is. I hope this speech helps you realize that being honest also can help benefit you and people around you, because lying also affects all the people around you. It also affects your self-image. I hope this speech helps you realize that. Thank you for listening.